This is the Fox 5 News Block.
Breaking news at the Jersey Shore. A lifeguard rushed to the hospital after getting impaled by a flyaway umbrella. And tough talk from Mayor Eric Adams coming out swinging after Zohran Mamdani's surprising win in the Democratic primary for New York City Mayor. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Steve Lacey. Welcome to the News Block. Let's take a live look outside. Right now, another scorcher as temps climb into the mid-90s once again across the area. Let's get to Audrey Prenti for a look at the forecast. This is sort of the crescendo of the heat wave, though, right?
That is true. And we're officially in a heat wave now because we now have our third day with 90-degree temperatures or better across the region. It's still quite humid, too, so we still have a heat advisory in effect for the county shaded in orange here. An extreme heat warning for the county shaded in pink. This goes until 8 o'clock tonight. And we also have that air quality alert extended until 11 tonight as well. So be aware of that if you do have respiratory issues. It's very warm outside once again. We have readings in the 90s in many spots, although we've now hit 100 degrees out towards Newark Liberty Airport. Our dew points have come down just a bit, but it's still uncomfortable outside. Heat index values are over 100 in Islip, White Plains, over towards Sussex, and even down in Belmore, where it feels like 108 degrees. So we've been dry over the last couple of days, although it's been quite hot, but now we're starting to see a couple of showers popping up west of New York City. It looks like we have a stationary front that's draped just to our west, and that's going to help spark off a couple of afternoon showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm as we go rest of the afternoon. So you may want to have your umbrella handy late in the day, and then tomorrow we take a big temperature drop. The high will only be about 76 degrees, and it will be cooler with a chance of showers and maybe some thunderstorms too. Isolated shower chance as we go into Friday with a high of only 71, and we're unsettled as we go into the upcoming weekend. It won't be a washout, but we will have to dodge a couple of rain showers, which appears to be the trend over the last several weeks. Right on the weekends, temperatures will be rising into the 80s, and as we go into next week, we'll be warming it up once again. We're looking at highs moving into the middle to upper 80s, and there will be a shower chance as we go full on into that summer season weather. Steve, over to you.
Very well. All right, thanks, Audrey. Now to that breaking news at the Jersey Shore. A lifeguard seriously injured after being impaled by a beach umbrella. Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini live in Asbury Park today with the latest. Stephanie, wow.
Yeah, Steve, it's almost unbelievable when you hear it and when you think about what happened. I spoke to one first responder who was here this morning after the call for help went into the fire department, and he explained some of the details to me. Now, according to officials, it all happened on the beach. That lifeguard was trying to put an umbrella in the sand by the lifeguard stand by the 3rd Avenue beach here at Asbury Park. Now, according to first responders, some sort of a wind gust came and threw the lifeguard onto the umbrella, which had flipped upside down. Essentially, that metal pole that's used to stake the umbrella went into the lifeguard's body. The lifeguard, described only as a young woman. Now, we're told that it went through her left armpit and came out through the back shoulder blade on the left side. Now, when first responders got here, they say that she was conscious. They had to actually cut down the pole to be able to transport that lifeguard to a nearby hospital.
Initial reports were from the other lifeguards that she was putting the umbrella in their base that they have in the lifeguard stand when the wind took the umbrella, and she ended up going out of the lifeguard stand with the umbrella.
So definitely a very rare injury. We don't have an update on the lifeguard's condition. This all happened around 9:30 this morning, Steve. I'll try to have more details for you in the 5 o'clock newscast. Back to you.
What a nightmare. All right. Thanks so much, Stephanie. Well, President Trump has wrapped up at the NATO summit, securing major commitments from other members of the alliance. But as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, Trump is still contending with questions about the effectiveness of U.S. strikes on nuclear sites in Iran.
President Donald Trump is on his way home from the NATO summit after scoring a major win. All NATO countries have agreed to a massive hike in defense spending, pledging to invest 5% of their GDPs by 2035.
It's a monumental win for the United States because we were carrying much more than our fair share.
This is something Trump had been urging since his first term, and now the alliance is on board, with Russia still looming as a threat to their security.
We have to make sure that we can defend ourselves, and that is why we are doing this.
Trump also met privately with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, their first sit-down since a heated Oval Office argument in February.
Couldn't have been nicer. I'm going to speak to Vladimir Putin and see if we can get it ended.
But overshadowing all of this was the situation in the Middle East. In a leaked U.S. intelligence report calling into question just how successful the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites were. The report claims Iran's program was only set back a few months, while the president insists it's obliterated.
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
If you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated.
Israel's Atomic Energy Commission says their assessment is the U.S. and Israeli strikes set back Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon by many years. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Mayor Adams speaking out, attacking one of the candidates he'll face for the mayoral election in November. Adams, who switched his affiliation from Democrat to Independent, went on Fox News saying Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic primary projected winner, is deceiving the people of New York.
He's a snake oil salesman. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New York's high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at Assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government.
Mamdani built a grassroots campaign to surge ahead of frontrunner Andrew Cuomo in the days leading up to the primary. If Mamdani is elected, he would be the first Muslim mayor and the first person of South Asian descent to be mayor of New York. The attorneys in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial back in court today. According to court filings, some of the charges against the music mogul are being dropped to streamline jury instructions. The prosecution and defense are meeting with the judge to decide how the charges will be explained to the jury. Closing arguments will start tomorrow. Diddy's lawyers say the sexual encounters outlined in the case were consensual. New Jersey Congresswoman MacGyver appearing in federal court in Newark for her arraignment on assault charges. They stem from a scuffle that occurred outside the immigration detention facility Delaney Hall last month. She was there with other members of Congress for an oversight visit. It turned into a struggle when Newark Mayor Ross Baraka was refused entry. MacGyver is accused of assaulting and interfering with immigration officers during the melee. MacGyver pleaded not guilty. She claims the charges are politically motivated.
We will fight this. At the end of the day, this is all about political intimidation. The Trump administration and his, him and his colleagues or cronies, whatever you want to call them, have weaponized the federal government.
Supporters gathered outside the court for the rally, demanding the charges be dropped. Now, if convicted, MacGyver could face more than a dozen years in prison. And we'll be right back with more news after this short break.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? Spectrum is bringing together the streaming apps you love. Plus, live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. All in one place, across your devices. So no matter when or where you are, it's all here. Spectrum.
Well, it's been a banner year for gold as people sought safety from the uncertainty driven by a global trade war. And with gold up more than 40% over the past year, the search is on for mining companies to find more. Joining me now is Quentin Mai, the CEO of gold mining company West Point Gold. Quentin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for the invite.
You know, it's been an amazing run for gold this past year, up about 40%, as I mentioned. Interestingly, it's actually down around 2% this past week, despite all the uncertainty surrounding Israel and the U.S. trading military strikes with Iran. Typically, that would have been the sort of thing that we were seeing gold prices shoot up. What do you make of its short-term price movement of late?
Well, I think what we need to look at is that the long-term drivers of the gold price are very much intact. These are, I kind of call them short-term or kind of emotional events where you have these geopolitical drivers that may affect the price in one given day. But as you mentioned at the beginning, that the price of gold is up 40% this year, and the driving factors behind that are the deficit, interest rates, dollar weakness, trade tensions, inflation. Does not affect the long-term fundamentals, all of which are driving the central banks to shift purchases of U.S. treasuries into gold. Even the U.S. has imported reportedly 600 tons of gold in the first quarter of this year.
Right. So it sounds like your message to people who are interested in precious metals and gold in particular, but fear they may have missed it, your message is there's still upside there.
There's actually plenty of upside. We're actually, and I can say this pretty succinctly, we're at an inflection point in history right now where gold is now getting a foundation above 3,000. The gold companies across the board produce gold around $1,400 to $1,500 an ounce, all in costs. So when you're looking at a $2,000 price versus a $3,000 price, you can imagine there's a lot more money being made in the sector, which is attracting more money, which is actually going into the market to allow us to go in and make more discoveries and actually broaden the amount of production.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty fascinating. So your company, West Point Gold, is a mining company. You're sort of focused right now in the southwest of America. What's the key driver of progress in your industry? Is it using technology to sort of get smarter about where you dig holes, or is it about using technology to get the gold out of the ground cheaper?
Well, there's a bit of a blend going on there. There has been a transformation of the gold industry with the advent of heap leaching over the past 30 or 40, 50 years, which allows lower grade deposits to be produced, which we've seen in the Carlin trend in the U.S. That's been kind of the technological advancement. But just to quote President Trump, drill, baby, drill. That is old as the hills itself, and we've got to go out there and drill to make discoveries. And the best way to the best place to make discoveries is where gold has been mined before. And in the U.S., as you know, in the southwest part of the U.S., California, Nevada, Arizona, they've been mining for 150 plus years. So you're looking at these historic areas with modern technology, and there's a tremendous amount of upside potential, which is being discovered right now.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We're looking at these sort of 3D topographical maps I took off your website, showing it spinning around, looking at where traditionally we found gold and where hopefully there's more to be found. Quentin Mai, I appreciate your time and your expertise. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for the time. Have a great day.
You too. 4 astronauts blasted off for the International Space Station this morning from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. The crew represents India, Poland, Hungary, and also includes American astronaut Peggy Whitson. Those countries were sharing the tab for the 2-week mission. The price per astronaut, more than $65 million. And the soon-to-be Mr. and Mrs. Bezos have arrived in Venice ahead of their star-studded wedding. The couple docked outside the Aman Hotel with 2 security boats in tow earlier today. The guest list expected to have 200 A-list celebrities and business executives. And that's your news block for now. I'm Steve Lacey. Thanks for joining us. Tune in to the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all the news as it develops today. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 3.